G'day YouTube, my name's Lance and welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. Well, the weather report. Well, boy. Look, we think we might be coming into a few showers with any luck. We had 3 millimetres of rain through the week and that greened the place up. We'd had a couple of fogs recently, early in the morning, and just a couple of fogs and a 3 mil of rain, and the paddock was starting to green up. And look, now it's lovely and green. It's sort of a dry drought. We haven't got enough rain to fill the dams or anything like that, but it seems to be keeping things going and topping up the house water a little bit. We had 7 millimetres last night, so it's just it's a nice little top up, and that'll keep things green. The temperatures are mid-30s, probably more low mid-30s, but at this time of year the humidity it gets in, it sorts you out a little bit. So, but that's all right. I'm in the shed here. I'm sweating a bit. I've just been running around doing the videos of the dams and all that sort of thing. So, but look, the days, the nights are still nice and cool. It's one of those things where, yeah, it's a little bit sweaty early in the piece, but yeah, the nights, in the mornings you get down to 18, 19 degrees and things like that, so it's not too bad. There's a fair chance, well, they're saying this week we might get a few little drops of rain, so we're certainly hoping for that, and we'll just see how we go. We can't control that, but I was having a look at the Bureau of Meteorology this morning, and they're saying the chance of a bit more today, which, look, it's grey skies outside at the moment. The sun's coming through now, but there's a bit of a breeze. I just run down early, try and get in before the breeze come in to try and take it for a wander around the dams and just show you what I'd done. But I'm not sure. The wind started coming up a bit, and with this, with the old camera, the Nikon, it really picked up the sound. So I was trying to shield this Panasonic Lumix, and look, I couldn't hear it on the playback on the camera, but yeah, you've only got a pissy little speaker, and you've just got to hope it's okay. So we'll just see how that goes. I can always redo it if in editing I see it's a bit crook. But on the weekend I took the opportunity to finish the plumbing on the 1640 and get that going. I was talking to a bloke a month or two ago about the tractor, and he said, oh look, if you ever want to get rid of that tractor, give us a yell. He said, I've got one of them and I wouldn't mind one for the other property. And I said, yeah, all right, I'll see how I go, and I've got to get it finished first. And I said, I want to play around with it. And he said, oh, no hurry, he says, but just make sure you give me first refusal. So I said, yep, all right, that's a deal. And so anyway, he was in the shop again the other day, and he's saying to Jude, how's Lance going with that tractor? And she said, oh, I don't think he's done anything, he's playing with his Fergies. And he said, oh, no rush. He said, just tell him, James, don't forget me if he gets that tractor and he wants to sell it. And I said, so anyway, Jude rattled me chain a bit, and she said, what are you doing with that tractor? As they do, them women. And I said, oh, I don't know. I said, I'm just bloody playing with me Fergie, enjoying myself. And anyway, I must have planted the seed. And, on the back of the steer and priority valve, I needed to get a fitting there. It was a through T, and so I went to town and I bought one of them, and I plumbed the loader control valve in, which was something I hadn't done, and pardon me, because I didn't have that fitting. So I bought the fitting and plumbed that up, and I had to do the bucket hoses and things like that, and I'd still like to replace a couple of pins. I'm not that happy with the pin setup on the loader frame, but that's neither here nor there for the moment. So I finished the plumbing, I got the tractor running, and pardon me, I thought, well, I wanted to try it out properly and make sure everything was right, because if you recall back, 12 months ago maybe, I don't know how long I've had the tractor, but I bought the tractor in pieces, and I bought it from Gympie, and it came up in 6 big pieces: the loader frame, the bucket. The tractor was in 3 pieces. You know, the engine was one piece with the diff wobbling around, the high-low steering box, the front bell housing was in one compartment and the back end was in another, and I had boxes and boxes of parts. So, I over a few months I put the tractor together and got it running. So then I started on the loader frame. So, look, it works like a beauty. What a great little tractor. So handy with the four-wheel drive. And anyway, Judy and I had been talking about cleaning out the dams, and we've been telling ourselves, you know, we should get an excavator in or someone to do these dams out, but I mean, you couldn't get anyone to do it at the moment. Everyone's busy, and there's other people getting stuff done, and we thought, oh well, you know, it doesn't matter. And anyway, I thought, well, to test this 1640, I started on the dam on the, as you're coming up the driveway towards Bundy Bear's shed, the dam on the right. And I started there because it's got a nice gentle slope coming into it. So I thought I'll just sneak in there and I'll just test the water and just see what it's like, because the bowl looked dry, yet sometimes in the bottom of a dam, you know, you have a bit of silt in that and it looks dry, but when you put a wheel in there, whoop, you're gone. But so I thought I'd sneak in and have a bit of a go at that, and look, it went really well. Yeah, that the tractor is stuck in four-wheel drive. Now, on a 1640, you've got a four-wheel drive solenoid underneath the drop box, the four-wheel drive box where the shaft comes out, and the tractors, if you lose power, lose engine power or lose electric power, the default is lock it in four-wheel drive for safety. And so if you put your foot on the brakes and put your foot on the clutch and hit the brakes, you'll have four-wheel braking working for you because of the four-wheel drive setup. And so anyway, the earth lead on that solenoid's broken off, so I have to pull that off and dig around it and solder another terminal on, and so it's stuck in four-wheel drive. So which going down, pushing and cleaning out the dam was a great thing. What I mean. And on that same dam on the right, as you're looking at Bundy Bear's shed, look, I got in there and I cleaned up most of it. There is a couple of wet patches in there that I couldn't get into, and I put the tractor across them, and look, my wheels were sinking so far into mud and clay and shit, but there wasn't much silt in there because of the weeds around the outside. So I spent Saturday and probably half a Sunday, look, a couple of days probably in total, cleaning the dams, and the dam on the left as you're coming up towards Bundy Bear's shed, it's got silt in the bottom, but Kelly Dog went for a test run. Bloody bitch. She thought it was hot following the tractor, so she charges in there well. She's like a pig in mud. There's mud up to her guts and she was nearly flat getting out. So before the mud set, I brought her up the shed here and I hosed her all off and, you know, read out her pedigree. and she was good. Then next day, bugger me, the same thing. So yeah, but so in the bottom of that dam, there's probably so much mud. You can't pump it or anything like that, but it's just slop. So I couldn't actually get into that dam and do a proper clean out. I could only drop down over the edge as far as I was game to go and pull back out. And a couple of times I nearly got stuck and I had to leave me load down there and push myself out with the diff lock on and the bucket, and yeah, I got out. Yeah, it was no worries. And Jude was watching me a couple of days, a little bit there, and she was having kittens. I think she went up the front, but we didn't clean much dirt out of the dams. It was mainly the dams. We've had a problem with reeds, and the dams are 20 years old, and this is the first clean out they've had, and the reeds around the edges and all that were probably cleaning the water coming in, but I don't know how much water the reeds would have been using, you know, as in using up your water. So I've got 5 quite large heaps of, look, they'd be really good compost. There's a bit of dirt in them, but when the reeds get on the bank of your dam, they put out a root cover right over the dam, and so you have to just get under that. And once you get under that root cover, you can actually drag a whole big heap out at a time. And so there's a lot of matted roots. There's there's reeds and a little bit of soil there. So these compost heaps, we're just going to leave them there. I'm going to turn them every couple of months. It'll be ideal to get a bit of rain on them and get them all sorted out. And we've got a couple more garden beds getting built up at home, but we've just pulled the pin on all those jobs because why have garden beds? And we build a garden bed and then we put any mowing clippings and all that in and just compost it for 12, 18 months and then start using it as a garden. But we've pulled the pin on that. We've had no water and anything to do any of that stuff with. So yeah, I haven't done anything on the Fergie 135 from last week. I had to do a machining run on there's a little PDO collar on the TE20 PDO shafts, and where the seal runs, you can actually pull that collar off and put a new one on. And I'd run out of them, so I've made 5 of them so far. I've still got another one to do today sometime. And yeah, I'll probably get up and do that. I don't know if I'll film that or not, just depends how the stew goes. I found my old sandwich board that we used to take to shows and put out in front of the tent, so here's a bit of shameless self-promotion. But yeah, we used to have that there. It's got restoration parts and accessories, John Deere, Fergie, Massey Ferguson, Fordson, Ford, International, Farmall, David Brown, Case, Ellis Chalmers and Oliver. And then my phone number, 1300 85 0097. And the website, queenslandtractorspares.com.au. So yeah, I just saw that and I thought, well, if I'm going to do the stew sitting here, I might as well just do a bit of shameless self-promotion. Doesn't hurt. There's a couple of things we're working on in Queensland Tractor Spares, and there's always little parts you can't find when you're doing your own restoration. So we're actually working on making a couple of little kits for a couple of things I've found on the 135 that are hard to find. So I'll go and grab them and we'll have a look at that. Now, when we're doing restorations, you come across bits and pieces that you think, oh, I wish I had this, or wish I had that, or how come no one makes this and that? And there's a couple of things we're working on at the moment, and one of them that I haven't started yet is at the back of the tractor on the Fergies, where the PDO cover goes on and your check chain mounts. On the TE20s and 35s, there's studs there, and they're 7/16, and you can buy them. You can buy those studs. But on the 135s, they actually have 1/2-inch studs. And I've been having a bit of a look around because I have one missing on one tractor, and on the multi-power tractor, there's actually a they've got Allen head screws in, and I haven't even bothered looking at the ex-harvester tractor. And so I'll probably work on doing a set of studs for them, or finding studs, or doing something. It's how we're going to pop them together as a kit, just to see how we go. Now, under the drawbar of the tractors, so under the diff housing, there's 4 bolts, or 4 threads, and on the 135 they're 3/4 UNC, and on the 35s and T20s and that, they're 7/16. No, sorry, they're 5/8. I'm getting me studs mixed up. Being a bit of a stud myself, you wouldn't think I'd do that, would you? But there's 3/4 and 5/8 to hold the drawbar on. You can buy a stud, but if you buy a stud, well, then you've got to find the nuts, and people actually buy one stud and it's got UNC thread where it goes up into the housing. You get a fine thread down the bottom, and they buy one stud, then they buy the wrong nut and all that sort of thing, and they're not listed together or anything like that. So I mean, at Queensland Tractor Spares, what I'm working on at the moment is we're working on a set of 4 bolts or studs, and they're nice CAD plated studs, and they're 3/4. We're doing a 5/8 set for the 35s and that, and we're doing a 3/4 set now for the 135s. And this kit goes right up, I believe, to the 165s, 188s and that, but I do have to check my facts there, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's looking like. So what happens when you use a bolt, and look, not everyone does it, just some, and I've actually bought tractors in here where there's a broken stud underneath there, or they've had a stud torn out. And another problem I've had is people buy a bolt that's too long, and then they put a drawbar on it, and then they get up at eight. And so where the thread comes up into the diff casing of the tractor, it's a blind hole, so it doesn't leak oil. But I've actually seen them pop the end out of that, whether it's from dirt up the hole and putting the bolt in or whatever, I don't know. But I've had 2 tractors here now with those, not all of them, just one per tractor sort of thing, where they've put too long a bolt in and they've popped the cap out of the diff housing. The diff housing's not buggered, you can still use it, but you need to actually seal a stud in there properly. So by putting the wrong bolt in, you can damage the diff housing. So we're working on this kit. I'm going to sell these as a kit of 4. I may offer them as 1 stud as well, but you have your 3/4 UNC here, or 5/8 UNC in the 35 range. You have a piece with no thread, and that's where your drawbar, that supports your drawbar snugly. And down the other end, we're supplying a spring washer and a UNF nut, which that's how they were originally. So by popping the studs up in under the diff housing there, you can't go in too deep and damage the housing because of this thread here. So you can screw the studs up, leave them up in there. Now, the thing with a stud that can be a problem is when you do it up, sometimes there's a little bit of thread there, and if you're a rough bugger and you're running over rocks and that, you can damage the thread here, and so it can make them hard to get out. But that shouldn't be a problem. But to put the studs in, I may do a little video on this, but the idea will be to grab 2 nuts, lock the 2 nuts together on the fine thread, pop a bit of Loctite up on here and screw them in firm, and the Loctite will look after that. They can be tight, but your thread here will probably bottom out, which is what we're planning on happening. So, and then you can just crack the bolts, crack the nuts and take them off again. I'm thinking of offering the set with a little bottle of Loctite, just to Loctite them up so they don't come loose, because if you want to take your drawbar off or do something like that and you undo the nuts and they start a little burr or something like that, well, it's preferable that the bolt doesn't want to, or the stud doesn't want to screw out of the housing. So at the moment I've got the gear together to do the kits for the 3/4 and the 5/8, which should cover most of the small Fergies. I haven't chased down the studs for the rear PDO on the 135s yet to hold those brackets on. Myself and John, one of our customers I was talking to the other day, he was looking for a set, and he's just run them down. Got a tap and die and made them. I'm looking to find nice CAD plated bolts. These are silver CAD coating, and these won't rust on or anything like that. They'll last a long time, and probably put a bit of grease on before you go. It'll be a good thing. So just some of the stuff, hey, I dropped something again. Just some of the stuff we've been working on in the background, just to increase the range on Queensland Tractor Spares site. So look, I think that's a good thing. I've been looking for them. The 135 restoration, I've got bolts up in there, and that's what actually got me looking at it. I had 3 of one size and 1 of the other, and I thought, oh, what a bloody show. So I thought, well, I had a look and I could find a stud on SparX, but then the SparX do supply the studs, and that's where I'm getting the studs from. But then you've got to buy the nut, then you've got to find the washer and all that, and I thought, look, people like to buy kits. They like to look on the internet, find a kit that will suit their tractor, and one purchase, bang, they've got it. Not, can you send 4 of them and make sure I get the right nuts, please, and all that. It's just yeah, a bit of trouble. So look, that's about it for this week. I've got a bonnet off the 1640. I have a spare 1640 outside. Doesn't everyone? So I've got the bonnet off the one outside. It was a bit straighter than the one on the tractor, the four-wheel drive tractor. So I'm thinking today I might try and tidy that bonnet up a little bit and put it back on the tractor. It's nice to have the shed room. That 1640 with the loader was sitting in here for far too long. And it's nice to have a bit of space here again. The Fergie carry-all off the Gold tractor here, it's sitting up the end there, and a couple of times I've thought it'd be nice to get it out and put it on the tractor and take the kids for a lap, and it's just been too much trouble getting it all out. So I think I'll take I've got the pickup hitch on the back of the Gold one at the moment, so I think I'll take the pickup hitch off and I'll put the carry-all on, so when the grandkids are here and we want to go for a run, we can just hop on and sit on. I should make a couple of we used to have a couple of bales of hay, but we've used them all for mulch around the garden, so I might make up a couple of nice little chairs of some sort, or I suppose we've got milk crates, haven't we? Sit on the old milk crate, so we'll see how we go. But look, that's it for this week. Thanks for dropping by. No work on the 135 this week, but I feel like I've accomplished a lot on the dams, and if we get this next bit of rain that they're predicting, on the bomb they're saying that our wet season may start in the next few weeks. For those, I get a lot of messages about the bushfires in Australia, and you know, stay out of them. We had a fire over North Bundy on probably Friday afternoon near Maltese's place, but they got the bombers into it quick and they put it out, so it's okay. There's none in our immediate area. The ones you're seeing on TV internationally at the moment, between 1,000 and most of them anyway, between 1,000 and 1,500 kilometres from us, so nowhere near us. We're starting to get a little bit of rain, and the paddock's starting to green up a bit and things like that. So we're feeling the danger is easing a little bit with that in our area, particularly anyway. And if we get the showers today that they're predicting, and some tomorrow, and they're only saying 5 to 10 mil, and but all that helps, dampens down the litter on the ground and things like that. But we'll see how it goes. But look, we're way away from them. We're quite safe. We feel safe at the moment. They're a long way from us at this present stage. But if we have another dry spell, I suppose it's on again. But anyway, stay safe, everyone. Thanks once again for dropping by, and we'll catch you next week. I'm just going to take you for a walk now and show you what we've been doing. That's that bonnet off the 1640. Now it's got a little bit of a dent there to fix up. Nothing serious. That's a whole new front end for the multi-power tractor when I get to that. The bonnet is not looking too bad. Look, it's pretty straight, but it does need it certainly needs a wash and a tidy up and all that sort of thing. So I might try and do that today if I can, get that sorted and put it on the tractor just to protect it. I may have to leave the tractor outside. I'm just not sure yet. And there's my little Fergie carry-all, and the side covers off the dash of the 1640 just in here. So we'll try and get a couple of covers on the old girl today, and just see how we go. Well, look, there's me working team. Hey, what a pair of bloody good looking tractors, eh? That's what did all the dams. The 1640, if you remember, that was the one I bought in 6 pieces, and John Deere had quoted 15,000 to put it together and get it going. So I bought it cheaply, and then pardon me. And then I did the high-low. I did the videos on doing the high-low, the clutch, the whole lot, and over the weekend I got the plumbing finished, and mainly the plumbing on the loader. I wasn't happy with the plumbing on the loader, and so I re-plumbed the whole setup. So Look, it's a wire looking bit of gear, but boy is that a handy tractor. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do what I did on the weekend without that one. And well, there's a couple of little things I need to do yet. The tacho is electric on these and it's not working, so I need to run the wires back and see if the sender on the timing cover is any good. I haven't looked at that at all yet. The solenoid on the four-wheel drive, the earth wire on there, the terminal's been broken off at some stage, so I need to dig that back out and have that so we can either disengage or engage four-wheel drive. So without power going to that solenoid, it's stuck in four-wheel drive all the time. And there's another little leak, and when we come in on the shift cover here, where that wire goes, that's a little sensor, and that's just a sensor to tell us that we've got the proper transmission pressure. That has a tiny leak there, so I'll have to deal with that. That's no worries. And I have to tie the battery in properly, put the top cover on there. Now I know it's okay. I've got a bonnet up. I didn't even put the bonnet on to try it. I just wanted to see all the leaks and where they were and all that sort of thing. So that's been a really good tractor this weekend. It's really done some work for us. I am thinking when I get time to pop the loader frame off and give it a paint and paint the bucket black and the rams black and tidy all that up. I got a bloke onto me, he's looking at buying it, and he was putting the pressure on me. Oh yeah, you got that tractor done yet? I'll make sure you let us know. And so I got it going and I thought, oh, I better try it and make sure. Now I'm talking to Jude about it and I'm thinking, geez, I don't really like selling the old girl now. And this is my old faithful 2030. I used it with the back blade, and look, it's a great old tractor. There's a couple of things we need to do to that one day, and I'm just waiting to get the videos organised, and I've got a bit of wind blowing in now, so I suppose it'll blow out on this camera. But yeah, the hydraulic pump's got a leak just starting, so we need to do that, and now and then it jumps out of reverse. But apart from that, that's a great little tractor too. Right, this is the first dam. This is our big one normally, and all I could get the tractor to do, because that mud in the centre there, that's halfway up Kelly Dog's belly. So yeah, that's I can't actually get down in there. So all I could do was drop down over the bottom, over the side, and scratch all the reeds back out, which it gave me a really good compost pile there. And when I swing around here quickly, there's another one just behind me here, and that's just out of this one dam. Look at the paddock green. That's from 3 millimetres of rain last week and a couple of dews on the ground. So we had 7 mil last night, so I reckon it'll get a lot greener yet. But I'll go up the other end and we'll show you what we've done up the far end. Now this is just that same dam. That's where the pump is, over the other side there. So mainly I've got all around the edge here tidied up, and we had a lot of reeds around here, so that's a good start. I just couldn't get any further down in here, just because it's still damp in the clay. And if you have a look over here, you'll see how sketchy we were getting in and out. Where's this one here? That's a tractor track. That was where I was I was trying to scratch out, and the front wheels were just digging in, and I actually had to roll myself back out with the front bucket to get back up the bank here, because yeah, look, it is quite steep. Okay, this is the other dam, and yesterday I could drive right down in the bottom there, and so I could clean this one up a bit better than the other one. That bowl there, I was sinking in there and I had to roll myself out with the bucket a couple of times, but there'd be no getting in there now after a little bit of rain last night. And so I couldn't get the wheels in the centre there properly either, for fear of getting bogged. And here's old Kelly Dog. Kelly. I wore old Kelly Dog out yesterday. She was yeah, just worn out, buggered from following the tractor. But yeah, we got to clean out all the dam here, so this is going to be a great benefit to us. This is where I pushed all the stuff, all the overburden away, and we've got a really good compost heap there. And look, it's mainly just reeds, so that's going to break down really quickly. And so Jude's got another compost heap over here. Then we have one there, and that one there, she's a whopper. That's about 8-9 feet high. This one's good 9-10 feet high. But yeah, I wouldn't have minded. I left the tractors down, and I thought if I got a chance today, I'd actually hop in there and just do a little bit of tidy up, bit of final trim sort of thing. But with our 7mm last night, that's not going to happen. So what you see is what you get. But yeah, there's a couple of bloody good days' work, I tell you.